All right. So I guess you can see my screen now and you can hear me. So if you can see my screen, if everything is good, give me a thumbs up, guys. Okay. All right. So, all right, everyone, welcome to this masterclass on game art and sound production. Game art and sound production is usually for people who want to start making games, people who learn stuff by themselves. Game art and sound production is something which is usually neglected, because what people normally do is that they watch Unity tutorials on the internet, on YouTube, and they say, okay, I'm going to make a game. They get assets from somewhere, they download an asset pack, they download a few sounds from here and there, and then they just kind of put it together. And that's great for a start. However, if you're actually going to make something of your own, if you're going to make a slightly more complex group project, you need to understand the production process for game art and sound. And for the guys who are, or the alpha batch of game maker who are in production right now, this is really, really important, because you guys are now making two projects, which is Greedy Goblin and Hunt for Atlantis, right? These two projects are going to be off the ground soon. You guys are in pre-production, and of course you're concentrating on the game design document, you're writing your features, and now at this point it's time to start thinking big time about art and sounds. Okay, right. So once again, let's go over the production process of video game, and this is standard anywhere in the world. This is the process of how video games are made. There is firstly a pre-production phase. Now, the pre-production phase is before you actually get into production. So as you can see, production starts at the end of pre-pro, and pre-pro has conceptualization, which is coming up with a game idea, prototyping, documentation, concept art, project planning, and scoping, right? Next, from the start of production till alpha is the phase where the programmers are very active, they're writing all the code. And alpha is the milestone where your game is feature complete. It means that the code is written, the functionality of a game, the game is written. However, the art and sounds are not complete. So even though you can actually do things in the game, it doesn't feel good, because the art is placeholder, or the art is partially implemented, it's buggy as hell, it's not polished at all. It's an alpha, it's a really ugly it's an ugly looking game at this point, but it kind of works, hopefully, right? And then from alpha, which is feature complete, to beta is when you integrate the art, you integrate the sound, when you actually put the game together, right? And then gold is when the game is released, and between beta and gold is where all the polishing takes place. So just this was just to give you a quick overview of the game production process, right? Now, when you guys are going to start making games, remember, you guys are going to be working in teams. So now I want to talk about this. It's the most important thing going forward. This is where most people mess up when it comes to making games, is that they don't know how to work in teams. They have friends, right? But having a teammate, having a colleague is very, very different. Now, if you get a job, if you go to a game company, it's different, because you have a boss. Okay, you have a boss who is your manager or your studio head, who is going to be giving you orders, and you have to do them. In a team, however, there is no boss. You guys are equals, you guys are teammates, and you have to learn to get with each other. And these are some team building rules that I have learned. I have kind of formulated them in about 13 to 14 years of making games. Now, first thing is decide your game dev roles and give authority. What do I mean by that? When you say decide your game dev roles, it means that decide who is going to do what. Decide who is going to be in charge of game design. Decide who is going to be in charge of game programming, decide who is going to be a project manager, who's going to be a game artist. Now, what's going to happen is that people are going to be like, oh, I want to be level designer, oh, I want to be artist, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. And you should not say yes to people on the basis of what they like to do, right? Maybe I want to do art, but I'm a terrible artist. Okay. Just because I think I can do something does not mean that I should be allowed to do something. Right. So, how do you decide? How, in a team, if somebody says, I want to be level designer, I want to be artist, ask them to prove their skills, ask them to give you a presentation. Say, okay, you want to be a level designer, you want to be artist, give us a presentation of your vision for the game. And then maybe there are two people who want to be level designers, let them both make their presentations, and then you guys decide as to who is going to be the level designer, who's going to be the artist, etc. Right? Remember the second mantra of Game to Maker, right? Who here is from the Game to Maker course and knows the second mantra of Game to Maker? Please let me know. Put it in the chat. I'll tell you because there's a lag. The second mantra of Game to Maker is it's not about you, it's about the game. Right? Don't make this about yourself. If someone rejects your idea, don't sulk. Don't be a crybaby. Don't be like, oh, my game idea was rejected. My feature idea was rejected. No, it's about the game. It's not about you. It's about the game. So you have to think like a game maker. Say, okay, this feature, even though it's not my idea is actually not that good. That other person who I don't really like very much has a good idea, which is pretty interesting. All right, dude, even though I don't like your face, I want to punch you every time I see you, but you're having a good idea, and it's about the game. It's not about me and you. So let's do this. Let's take your idea. Okay, that's super hard to do, but that's how you become a good game maker. All right. Next, always make somebody the project manager for your game. It's very, very important because there has to be somebody who kind of pulls people together, says, hey guys, let's have a meeting today. Let's meet at 9:30 at night, or somebody who actually tracks the tasks, right? Somebody, and this doesn't have to be exclusively a project manager. Okay, there's no need to say, okay, um, your only job is project management. No, that's fine. You could be a game artist, a programmer, whatever, and also be a project manager. It's very, very important to have someone who does the role of just asking people if their tasks are done and coordinating between people, right? Very, very, very important. Project manager's role is very, very important in game development. So make sure you appoint somebody from your team. And you know what? Project managers make good money. It's a great option for you as a career prospect. If you're a good project manager, you can totally get a job as a project manager or a producer at a game company. It pays well. There's always great demand for project managers. Okay, lastly, this is something I've noticed. There are a lot of people who are very polite when you talk to them or you have a call, but they are total assholes in chat because for some reason it's like, oh, nobody can see my face. So please make sure that you guys are polite. Don't be sarcastic, don't be rude. Be civil to each other. Whenever you're working in a team, there will be times of tension. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, there are times when people are not very professional and you get mad. Just take a deep breath, just be like, count to 10, and then hopefully you're not going to write that rude comment uh, or whatever that you were doing, right? So keep it civil. Very, very important. The next point is meet regularly at a fixed time. Whenever you're working on a game project, obviously make it on Discord. Discord is absolutely amazing. Discord is the best game making coordination project tool in the history of the world. Discord is absolutely fantastic. So in Discord, make sure that you meet at a regular time. Now, I see a lot of people saying, "Hey guys, should we meet tomorrow at 9:30?" And there are going to be five people in the team, and one person comes, "Oh, I'm going out for dinner. I don't think I can make it tonight. Can we do it tomorrow?" And then, yeah, okay, let's do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow, somebody else will say, "Oh, I'm having a problem tonight. Can we make it the day after tomorrow?" And then you will never meet. So take a poll in the beginning. Say, okay, guys, what's a suitable time? 9 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 10:30 p.m., whatever it is. So say, okay, we are going to meet Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9:30 p.m. in the Discord channel. We're going to meet there, and that's it. Now, if you can make it, great. If you can't make it, too bad. It's not going to be shifted, right? Also, try to make sure that you make it. Once in a while, if you miss a meeting, it's okay. However, meetings are very, very important. Remember that in the game industry, as and when you guys join, as when you get a job, what happens in game studio is that every morning, whatever, 10, 10:30, 11 o'clock, whatever it is, a scrum meeting. So a scrum meeting means that the entire game team or the creative team or the client team or the marketing team, everybody gets together, stands on the floor in a kind of circle, and in the middle of the project manager say, "Hey guys, good morning, what are we doing today?" And one person will say, "Okay, I am working on this particular feature, and actually for implementing this particular feature I need the animations." So then the artist will say, "Yeah, I'm working on the animations, I should be done with the animations by about 3 o'clock, and then I'll hand over them to you at 3 o'clock." So everybody knows what's going on, right? They talk about what they're doing, what their plans are for the day, and then in next morning in the meeting you say, "Okay, I was planning to do this and it was done," or, "I was planning to do this but I had this problem, can somebody help me?" So this regular meeting, like, it doesn't, even if you haven't finished your task, that's okay. Have regular meetings as a game team, get together and talk about what's going on. If you don't do that, your game project is dead. Regular meetings are very, very, very important, right? Lastly, keep communication channels open at all times. Don't be like school kids and do cutty, like I'm not talking to you or whatever. Very, very important to keep your communication channels open at all times. In my work, in my studio, even in my day job, like there are times when you're working with people and you have conflict, right? Sometimes they do things that you don't like, you do things that they don't like. It does not work to not talk to them, to not have a communication channel, to be like cutty like you used to be in school. Talk to people, have a chat, have a call, have a couple of minute call. Maturity, especially in game dev, means that you talk to people, you have conversations with them, you chat with them. If you're having a problem, if you're having some disagreement, say, "Hey, can we hop onto a 5 minute call and talk it over?" Okay, making games is all about people, guys. It's all about people. It's not about Unity. You can use whatever software you want. It's not about tools. Okay, Unity doesn't make games, Blender doesn't make games, people make games. Understand that very, very thoroughly. People make games, right? So make sure that your people skills, your interaction skills, your team skills are top game, right? Now, next thing I'm going to talk about is, when it comes to art and production, there is something called an asset list, and asset lists are absolutely gold. Now, people in Spartans have been working on asset lists, and I want to talk about that. So, where asset lists are basically a list of graphic and sound assets for the game, right? Now, who makes this? The asset list is made by the person in charge. Okay, there's a typo there, it's changed. By the person in charge. Okay. Sounds are usually made for the ground by the game designer, unless there is somebody in the game who's specifically been given the job of sound engineer. Then they can actually make the sound asset list, right? And the asset list should contain all the details and description of the asset, right? Make it in Google Sheets. Google Sheets is awesome. And don't worry about if you leave something out, you can always add it later. So what I'm going to do now is um, I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to share an actual asset list. Okay, give me a second. And this asset list is a very nice asset list, which one of the Spartans. I don't know if Ash, are you here? I don't know if Ash is here. Ayush. Okay. So Ash is one of the Spartans, and he just yesterday created this asset list, and I'm going to share my screen now and show you what it looks like. Okay. So if you guys can see my screen, um, Reaper Creeper is asking, "Are you actually live?" Yes, I am actually live. Why does this seem like this is a recording? Okay. So if you guys can see my screen, let me know in the comments. Right. So this is what a asset list looks like. This is a graphical asset list. So if you can see, there are categories over here. So these guys are making a top-down fighting roguelike kind of game. And here you can see serial number, name of the tile, and description, right? Uh, so you have static level elements and drops. So these are no, this is not recorded. I'm very much live. Okay. Um, so these are static level elements and drops. So these are all basically environmental assets. This is a pixel art game, by the way. So these are the assets, and this is the description of each one of these. Next, you have uh, the player, and for the player, you have all the animation. You have the idle animation, you have the dash animation, you have the melee, you have the damage, you have the death, and you even have a description, and you have the number of frames, right? Similarly, you have enemy red, enemy yellow, enemy orange, and boss. So these are basically all the characters. So if you can see over here, there is a name, there is a description, and there is a number of frames. Now, this is specifically just for the characters, right? You can have a proper asset list is huge. Let me share another asset list with you. This is kind of like from a mobile game, and this is what an list looks like. Okay, so I'm just gonna zoom in. This is basically kind of like an example asset list which I have made here. This is for a mobile game. This is splash screen, this is size, game logo, main menu background, level 1 background. So each background, this imagine you have a level based game and you have a level 1 background of a jungle theme, level 2 background, rainforest theme, etc., etc. And here you have the size, and here you actually also have a place where you can put hours. So this is a great way of actually calculating how much time it's going to take you. So the artist should fill this in. The artist should be like, okay, the splash screen is going to take me say 4 hours, and then the jungle theme is going to take me 5, and then each one of these is going to take me 5 hours, right? And the animation is going to take me 2. And then you can actually you can add up all of these here, and as you can see over here, it says 35 hours. So you know that making these assets is going to take you 35 hours, and then you can calculate, okay, 35 hours means that if I work, say, 2 hours a day for 5 days a week on this game, that means it's going to take me like a month and a half, whatever. So you can kind of do your estimation of how much time it's going to take you. So an asset list is super useful, because this way you know what art you want to make. Otherwise, you'll just be like, oh, I'm going to just make this random thing for my game today. right? If you sit down and if you make this kind of asset list, you'll know what exactly you have to make, and you will have an idea what you want to make. Now remember, there'll be things that you'll forget, there will be things that you don't know, right? Invariably you're going to be like, um oh man, I didn't think of that one thing, I didn't think of that button, I didn't think of that character, I didn't think of that animation. Like, you're going to miss stuff. Don't worry about it, just make the list. But at least, maybe you'll miss 5, 10, 15%, but at least you'll have 80 to 85%, right? Similarly, this is a sound assets list, right? So you have a game intro, you have description, you have duration. Okay, the duration is 5 seconds. Is it loopable? No, it's not loopable, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so this is a sound asset list. This is all this stuff is available to the Spartans of the Gamer to Maker course. Okay, all right. Let me stop sharing and let me go back to the slideshow. Oops. Okay. Okay. We're talking about asset lists, right? So you understand what an asset list and how it works. Next up, huh? So about asset lists, right? It's very, very important to start creating your asset lists early, right? Um, this is going to give you an idea of the scope of the game. Now, if you have a game which is out of scope, if you have a game which is huge, as you start creating your asset list and as you put in the number of hours, you're going to realize, oh my god, like these assets are going to take me 8 months to create. And I want to finish this project in 4 months or 5 months. So as you start creating your asset list, you're going to realize the scope of your game. If it's if the scope is too big, you will learn to actually get the scope down, right? It's going to help you to determine dependencies. Now, what is a dependency? Dependency is something that, for example, a programmer needs to do something. The programmer needs to implement a feature or do something, and there is a dependency upon another programmer who has to complete a task before him or her, and then that person can do it. Or perhaps there's an artist, maybe a programmer needs to implement an animation, but there's no animation because it needs to actually be created. It actually needs to be created by the artist. So that's called a dependency, right? When you create an asset list, you're going to realize, oh, okay, I need to create this, and then that person is going to use this. So you will be able to understand the dependency of the game project, right? You'll be able to calculate your timelines. A big part of calculating timelines, firstly, is of course the programming tasks, the features, etc. But a big thing is going to be the art and sound. So it'll give you a much better idea of how much time it's going to take you to actually build your project. Okay. Next up, budgeting. Now, it's possible that you guys may need to spend some money, you may need to buy some asset packs, or you may need to work with somebody else who's a freelancer who's actually going to build assets for you. So you'll have an idea of, you can contact someone and say, hey, hi, can you please help us with our game? We need art. And that person will say, okay, can you tell me what assets you need for your game? And then you can just send over that asset list, and that person can have a look and say, oh, okay, this is, it's going to take me 6 months, and it's going to take me like 20,000, 30,000 rupees, or whatever amount that they're going to charge you. So it's going to help you to build help you to build a budget for your game when it comes to art as well as sounds, right? Next up, I want to talk about art asset docs. Now, we've talked about sound, the asset list, and now I'm gonna, especially this is for games which have a little bit more of with a little bit more better art. So if you're going to be creating original art, it's always a good idea to have an art design documentation, which is also called an art Bible. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen of what an art Bible looks like. So as some of you know, um, I have been my studio has been working on a game which is called Mayu. Okay, so now I am going to share the art Bible of Mayu. Okay, so this is the art Bible of Mayu, and this is what an art Bible looks like. This is a very, very important part of your game project, right? So, what is the inspiration? The inspiration is a Pokemon Stardew Valley Labyrinth. So, all the games that you are inspired for, when it comes to art, okay, not when it comes to mechanics or whatever, when it comes to art, when it comes to the look of your game, all your inspirations are in here. Now, this is something called a mood board. Just give me a second, drink some water. So, in the art talk, you have something called a mood board. The mood board is basically what is the feel of the game? What is the look of the game? So, as you start building the art, you take similar art from these games that inspired you and you put them all together in one screen. And this is what a mood board looks like. It's basically a guide of the general look, the color palette, the feel, the visual aesthetic of the game is defined by the mood board. Okay, this is what a mood board looks like. Next up, your sketches. Now we have this is concept art of the protagonist Mayu. This is a very, very early sketch. Which is just really roughly done. So this is Mayu. This is a protagonist. This is his Baba, the Guru, and this is what he looks like. Again, a concept art sketch. This is Ma, who is Baba's wife, and next we have Mayu's mother, who is Bhadra. Okay. Oh my God, that was a spoiler. Okay. All right. And then this is an environment. So once again, what they have done is our game is set obviously in ancient India. So this is basically these are pictures, these are photographs, etc., etc. It's set in the mountains. It's there's a river close by, so these are basically references which are taken from ancient India of temples or villages, etc., which guide you when it comes to the art of the game. And over here, as you can see, there are tons and tons of rough sketches which have been made for the game, the characters, um, and the environments and some panels and things like that. So this is what a game art looks like. Then also here there is a palette. So this is the color palette of the game, approximately what kind of colors are going to be used. Um, and I guess that's the last slide. Yeah. All right. So what do you guys think of that? That was pretty cool, huh? So Muskan is the one who did that. It's I think it's really nice. Okay, let's get back to the slideshow. Okay, gonna share again. Okay. Now, when it comes to art, guys, I want to tell you something about concept art. Concept art is very, very, very important. For games, right? When you join the game industry, especially if you're working for a good studio, if you're working in a good quality team, or international standard team, you have to have concept art. A concept artist is someone who takes something which is just in everybody's minds and they actually bring it to life for the first time. So for example, this is a this is game concept art. Now this was actually put up on our Discord server. I'm going to show you the Discord server after this. It's really cool. But for example, what the artist did is that said, okay, I'm going to make, we have a bad guy, we have a villain in the game, and we are actually working on the character now. So what the artist will do is create three different versions which are quite different, right? And then this is shown to the team. Say, hey guys, that, you know, 1, 2, and 3, which one do you like best? And also there are 4 different types of helmets, so let me know. And then everyone discusses this. Oh, number 3 is cool, number 3 is my favorite, number 1 is my favorite, I like 2. And there's all these discussions that happen. Oh, maybe we should take this helmet and put it on that person. And then the cool thing about concept art is that everybody gives feedback, everybody's involved, and the artist is guided in his or her decision as to what to make by the entire team, right? It's a little bit extra work for the artist to make 2 or 3 different options like this, but that is the way it's done. And at the end, what you build is going to be really of international standard, because that is why concept art is really important. Now you guys might say, okay, where do I find a concept artist? Even if you don't have someone who is of that standard, you can do some sketches yourself. Or you can hire someone on the internet, you can hire a freelancer to do concept art for you. But whether you're starting or not, ultimately, whenever you join the game industry, when you're working for a serious company, this is very important. Concept art is really important. Okay, now I'm going to tell you something else which is very important, which is called key art. Now, what exactly is key art? Now, remember that you guys have to start somewhere, right? So key art is essentially a piece of art which is very, very iconic, which is very, very important, that is going to define everything else. So it's possible that in your game, the first thing that you're going to make final art is going to be a character, because that character is really important to your game visually. So what you do is you do a character first. You define a character. You take extra time. You take 5, 10, 15 hours to build that character, to sketch out that character. And then you look at that character, you say, okay, this is beautiful. This looks really good. And that becomes your key art. Everything else is built from there. The style of the game is defined by the first thing you build, which is your key art. Similarly, when it comes to sound as well. So for Mayu, for example, we had a sound engineer who made 2, 3, 4 different tracks of a few minutes. We listened to all of them, and then we're like, okay, this particular sound is awesome. Okay, and that became our key sound. Right now, coming back the production process, just to show you once again what it looks like, so you have a better understanding. Okay, sounds. Now, the most important thing to remember about sounds is that don't wait till the last moment. That's what everybody does. Let's wait till the end and then we'll put in the sound. Don't do that. It's very, very important to start integration of sounds very, very early, because of the following reasons. You need to write the code for sounds to play, right? If you wait for the end, you actually haven't written the code. You haven't actually included the sound design in the coding of your game, and you're going to have serious problems in the end. Okay, next up, when you're building your game, when you're testing your game, if there are sounds, you're going to be much more motivated, because the game is going to feel better. even if it's not final. Okay. And remember, you can build your sound asset list continuously. You don't have to finish it. You can put 5 sounds and then put in 5 more, but keep working on your sound asset list all the time. Very, very, very important. Remember that games in which people forget about sounds and they do it only at the end, those suck. Okay. Now, another very, very important thing, and this is called holding the vision. I've spoken about holding the vision to some people, and holding the vision is basically one or two persons in the team need to have the passion for the game. Okay, because what's going to happen in every game project, which is individually and in a group, what's going to happen is that people are going to have motivation levels going up and down. Okay, in the beginning everybody can be like, yeah, let's do this, and after some time motivation level is going to dip, and then somebody needs to be there to say, hey guys, come on, let's meet on Discord and bring that motivation level up. Okay, somebody has to be a leader and actually pull the project. It can be one person, it can be two people, right? Also remember, many games, most games, usually the vision is too big. You may have a lot of art assets, a lot of sound assets planned. Don't be afraid to scope down and say, okay, this game is too big, we're trying to do too much, let's scope down. Okay, so that's it. Now what I want to do, guys, is that a very, very important part. So any questions, any comments, guys, let me know. What I'm going to show you guys is I'm going to show you how here in my game studio in Roach Interactive. I'm going to show you how we guys do organize our Discord server. Okay, it's something which will be very interesting for you. So I'm going to actually share. I'm going to share the server, and I'm going to show you how it's organized, and I'm going to show you how we do things. So the best, as I said, the best project management tool that you can think of is Discord. So here, this is Project Krida, which is the server. You have general over here, right? You have general, in which you can just like these are some cool, really cool avatars which are artist made. So this is kind of like the process which you went through. So here you have docs reference. So this is a place where if you're looking for a document, you may have 10, 20, 30 documents. So if you're looking for documents, you go straight to the document reference channel. Whenever there is a some change to the design discussion. So whenever you guys are talking about design or you have interesting design posts, you can post it there. This is game art. This is the so as you can see, once again, there is a one character in which similarly the artist, she posted three, and then people said, I want this, I want that, I like this, I like that. These are again references for that same one. This is for we recently changed the color palette for the game. So as you can see here, there were discussions about the color palette and pixel art, and then okay, that one that I showed you. This is that villainous character, right? Then there is music and sounds. As you can see here, our sound engineer keeps creating sounds and keeps posting them here, and we can look at them. We can give feedback, etc., etc. Okay. This is, of course, code engine. This is builds and feedback saying, okay, guys, there's a new build. Whenever you're playing a build, everybody play it. Please give me a feedback so we can take screenshots. We can take screenshots of the bugs and we can give feedback on each of the builds. So this is builds and feedback. This is where you can actually put the bug reports, all the bugs that are found. And this is, of course, where there is a game we keep having game jams in which we kind of working together. So this is where all that happens. Then there is a inspiration and references thread where we keep posting all our inspirations and references for the game. And then of course we have project planning. We People say, oh, I can't make it, I'm sick, blah blah blah. Then there is a team planner, meeting schedule. Say, okay guys, we're having a meeting tonight at 9:30 p.m, etc. And then of course you have marketing, because our marketing has already started. So we have all our marketing strategy. We have all our posts over here. Okay. And then of course you have, we even have a channel where we post memes. post random stuff that looks cool, and that's pretty much it. So this was our Discord server, and Discord is an amazing place. So people in the Gamer to Maker course, you guys have your own channels, and if you guys want, I will create categories for you so you can make 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 10 different channels. Okay, it's a really great place to actually do your project planning. You can organize your art, you can organize your sound, you can organize all that stuff. Okay, so this is, I'm going to stop now because I don't want to overload you guys. This is basically part one. I'm going to be having more master classes,